I think PRSs are ugly as shit. I always thought they looked like old people's guitars when I was a kid.
The Know Your Gear podcast.
Is there one guitar brand that may play and sound great, but you can't get past the way it looks? For me, that's Yamaha. It just doesn't seem like they got cool. No, I don't care anymore. I used to care, and caring screwed me more than anything. Every brand that I loved the way it looked sounded like ass. To this day, I collect guitars that are aesthetically pleasing but sound horrible, and I don't like them. I'm not going to shame the brands. You probably could figure it out because I keep buying them. I buy them. They're like wall art. I get them and I go, this thing sounds like cardboard. Like it just doesn't have anything going for it. And I told you everything. Like every guitar when I was starting out guitar, I got the fake looking Strat guitar. Mine was a JB player. And I thought it looked horrible. It looked like, I thought the Strat was the ugliest thing ever. It looked like something that your grandpa played. And I was like, I was trying to be cool. By the way, not for girls. I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking like, I just wanted to be cool. Who doesn't want to be cool? I was like, maybe this will make me cool. No, I'm not sure. I just wanted to play guitar. And I wanted to feel cool playing guitar. And that guitar just did not make me feel cool. And all the guitars that I thought looked cool, I would get them. And I didn't like them. I didn't like the bridge. It was too weird. Or I didn't like the neck. It was too thin. And it didn't sound the way I wanted. And I would just force myself for years. I would go down this road, forcing myself to play things that looked cool. And then you would pick things up. And I use a perfect example as the SG. The SG on paper, if you look at the majority of my guitars, they are a little thinner bodied. They're light on the lighter side. The neck plays pretty easy, like a 60s style Gibson neck. The humbuckers sound a little full. I mean, on paper, an SG is like, I did a video long time ago, and it was talking about how to buy the perfect guitar, right? And the way this is how, if you're conscientious and you sell things for a living, you do tend to worry about, whether or not you help people in the best way. It's just something you think about. And so when people come into the store and I would have to sell them a guitar, I would want them to buy the best guitar for them. And so I kind of learned a philosophy, and that's why I taught it in that video. I'm gonna talk about it real quick now on how to help somebody pick the perfect guitar. And the way you do it is you write down as many things as you can, as quickly as you can, about what matters to you. Don't think about it, right? Just go, name something that matters to you. I'll give you an example. Guitar stays in tune. That matters to me the most. If a guitar doesn't stay in tune, I get really irritated, right? You could almost see it when I was playing that Telly a second ago and I felt like one of the strings were out. You just see like, look, there's a reason why I have clip-on tuners on every headstock, and everybody goes, they look horrible. I go, I don't care, because I just don't want to be out of tune, right? It's horrible. It's a horrible feeling. You're like, when I'm out of tune, I can't figure out if my playing sucks or it's the guitar. I want to know, I want it as effortless as possible. I want to keep my stress down. I want to keep the enjoyment optimized. So I care if a guitar stays in tune. Maybe you care if the guitar looks good. Write that down. Maybe you care if a guitar has a tremolo arm. Maybe it's tremolo. That's important to you. Or you hate that. That's important to you. Write that down. The guitar sounds like Led Zeppelin, or the guitar sounds like The Ventures, or the guitar sounds like, Pantera. Write that down. Here's my argument. If you write down enough things, whether it's a 6 or 7 or 10 things, it stays in tune. It sounds like this band that I like, or this music, or it can make this kind of music I want. It has either a hardtail or a tremolo that matters to me. It has this style of pickup. In other words, it has the ability to have single coil tones, or it just has fuller sound. It's light. It's heavy. It feels good on a strap on my shoulders, or it feels good in my lap. Write that down. Be honest with yourself. You write those things down. I tell you why you do this. You go in a store and you pick up a guitar, and this is what happens. I've watched it 1,000 times, and I still can't explain the logic to it that happens only in stores, but it happens. Everything that didn't matter to you matters to you in the store, and everything that mattered to you, you're not paying attention to. You'll go in the store and you'll be like, but I don't like the way it looks. You're like, well, was that on your list? No. If it was, then maybe, but that's not what I experienced. They'll play the guitar and they'll put on their list, it stays in tune and it doesn't have a tremolo and it has single coils and it's light. And they'll pick up a guitar and they'll go, man, this looks cool, but it's heavy and it kind of doesn't stay in tune and it has a tremolo. I'll take it. Or this is actually a crazy thing that people do. They'll go into the store. I've heard this advice. It's shit advice. Have a budget. Don't have a budget. Okay? Have a list in your head. Write it down on a piece of paper. Or put it on your phone. Remember it. Here's why I say that. People will pick up a guitar and they'll go, this is good, but it's only $300 and I was going to spend $500. So what do you have for like $400? Because now your brain's going, I'll save $100, but I'll get something a little nicer than $300. And I would say, well, you put on your list. It stays in tune. It does. It's light. You put that on your list. It looks cool. It does. It doesn't have a tremolo. Great. It has single coils. Yes. And it's $200 less. It's the right guitar. Why are you trying to find another guitar if it's right? And so, like I said, I've learned this list to really help you. And what you'll learn is that some time goes by, you don't need that list. Every guitar player just inherently just understands it. So to answer your question about guitars that are ugly, I used to care about that. I just don't anymore. I can tell you right now, and again, this is where you get in trouble, but I'm just, I'll get in trouble today. I lose a couple of subscribers. It happens every week anyways. I think PRSs are ugly as shit. I always thought they looked like old people's guitars when I was a kid. Carlos Santana, he's an amazing guitar player, but he was older than my dad, as far as I know. I have no idea if that's true. I just know when I saw him in Guitar World magazine, when I saw Carlos Santana for the first time, I thought, oh my God, that guy's older than my dad. He's playing guitar. I don't know if that's true. I'm just telling you what I thought. I thought that was ugly guitar. Okay? And so I was not a PRS guy. I thought Gibsons were ugly. You know who played Gibsons when I was a kid? Guys in biker bars played Gibsons through PBs. Like I said, I kind of grew up, I started playing guitar in 89. And then here's what happened. The cool metal looking guitars, that's what looked cool to me, but I didn't like the way they sounded and played. And then that whole genre just got wasted by the by the grunge movement, but that doesn't matter. What matters to this is that over time, I would focus on these things like the looks. And I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't. What I'm saying is your question was, do I? And I'm explaining to you why I gave up. The guitars behind me are representative mostly of, let's play a game. For most of my life, 70% of how long I've been playing guitar, I thought PRSs are ugly. There's one right there. 70% of my life or more, I thought Strats looked lame and boring. There's another PRS, I thought that was ugly. The Jazzmaster, I thought was a disaster. That ugly, when I say ugly, I mean this beautiful. That 80s looking metal thing with the orange pickups and the green Kiesel, I custom had that made because I think that's what I think is cool. I think it looks like a sports car and it looks amazing. The Firebird, I thought was ugly. The Warlock, for a time, I thought it was cool. Then I thought it was lame and old and, because then it got, it was outdated. But then I thought it was cool again. It's cool again, right? El Dunerino says, BC Rich smells like Lita Ford. You know what's funny is, can I just tell you a funny story about this? I wanted a BC Rich with it. Is it the reverse headstock? Is that what that is? A reverse. Let's take a look. I gotta look. When Lita Ford's video came out, Kiss Me Deadly, she would pound. It looked like in the video she was pounding the headstock on the floor, and I remember thinking like, I want to do that. So I don't remember if it was reverse or not reverse. I just remember all I wanted was whatever that was. But anyways, like I said, so to some point, just like with G&L, the headstock's ugly. I got to the point where I just don't care about that. And now when you ask me, and this is a hard question to ask or answer, what headstocks do I like? And I know we weren't talking about headstocks. We were talking about guitars, but I just want to do headstocks. I don't know if I actually like any of the headstocks in this room. So isn't that funny? So like I said, it's just weird. There's guitars I like, sure, more than others, but it just became less of a thing for me. And just more of, but I understand if you guys can't get past it. Robot Shlomo, if you're like, hey man, I can't get past it, I understand it. The question is there a guitar so ugly I wouldn't own? I don't know if that's the question, but we'll just do that. Is there a guitar so ugly I wouldn't own? No, there's a guitar that's so awkward I wouldn't own it. So for instance, if a guitar shape was just too weird, or if it was too weird, I just wouldn't own it. Because again, on my list, comfort is absolutely on the list. So comfort is really important to me. How it feels when I play it. It doesn't poke me. It doesn't make me think about anything. I just want to feel ergonomically like it's comfortable. So the more ergonomic, the better. So if you like this clip and you'd like to watch another one, you can click right here. And if you want to see the entire episode of the podcast, you can click right there. As always, thank you for your time and know your gear.